Hey, you guys. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. So, you guys, we're going to be talking about Mackenzie McKee. Not Mackenzie McKee. Nope, not her. Which we may actually be talking about Mackenzie McKee soon because they are in the middle of going through IVF and they just did the transfer portion of the IVF. So, fingers crossed that she will announce a pregnancy soon. But no, we're not talking about her today. We're talking about Mackenzie Edwards, who was once married to Ryan Edwards. They are in the middle of a pretty nasty divorce right now. And while Ryan's life seems to be, going smoothly, hey, Duchess, Ryan's life is going pretty smoothly. Over the past weekend, he had this beautiful baby shower with his family, his mom, his dad, a lot of family. Macy was there, Bentley was there, Macy's other kids were there, and his fiance, Amanda, was there, pregnant. They are expecting a baby soon. So his life seems to be going pretty well. Mackenzie, she posted a TikTok video kind of reminding of us of what she's been coming out of the past 2 years. And I don't remember where I saw it. I maybe saw it on TikTok. I know on Reddit, I think. I think I saw it on Reddit where someone shared the video that Mackenzie shared to her page of before and after pictures of the house. I'm going to have to take the audio out just because I don't want to get copyrighted. But we're going to watch this video. And let me just tell you guys, I'm kind of blown away by some of the comments that's left on her page. So this happened almost 2 years ago. Back in February 2023, Mackenzie filed for divorce from Ryan. She had to get a restraining order. He was really bad off on drugs. He was bad off. He made threats to her. He got physical with her. He put a knife to her back and told her if he couldn't have her, nobody would have her. He did things in front of the kids. He physically assaulted her in front of the kids. And I know a lot of times people want to say, well, we tried to warn her. He drove high to the wedding, so she should have known. I do think Mackenzie thought that Ryan was partaking in drugs. But if you go back and you watch the now infamous car ride to the wedding, when she unplugged the cameras, the audio picked up for a second or two afterwards. And she said, "You took a Xanax, didn't you?" Xanax is a lot different than the H, shooting up the H, which is what, come to find out, he was doing. Mackenzie, when you're in love, she was 20 years old. When you're in love and people try to tell you something, you're like, that's not who I know. The man that, is trying to be with me and wants to date me, he's not who I hear about. Like that, who you guys are telling me about, that's not what I see. That's not who he is to me. So I think she knew that he was doing something, but there's a difference in, like when I was growing up, my older kid's dad, he smoked weed. And I remember one night we were going out and I overheard him and his friend talking about the fact that they had taken a pill. I didn't know what it was. It scared me. And I was like, wow, these are idiots. But when you're growing up and I think she probably thought that he had been taking something, obviously, because when the cameras cut off, you heard the audio where she said, "You took a Xanax, didn't you?" And he said, "No, I swear on my children," which I think he was right. I think he wasn't lying. I don't think he took a Xanax. I think he was doing something else, So, yes, we tried to warn Mackenzie. I think she recognizes that. I think she lives with that every day. Like, dang, I wish I would have listened. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, she was young. At the end of the day, I don't think she knew at all the extent of what he was dealing with because we're in denial a lot of times about, and I will say, yes, Heather, I was so irritated when Mackenzie got up on that stage at the Teen Mom reunion and she read that letter to Macy and tried to blame Macy. That was the dumbest move I've ever seen Mackenzie make. I don't know her in real life, but I'm like, girl, that's not you should have talked to somebody before you got up on the stage and you did that because you just embarrassed yourself. You just literally tried to blame Macy, who has been the one person that has tried to do the best in all of the situation. She's tried to allow Ryan to be a part of Bentley's life the best way she knew how. She tried to protect Bentley, which should have been her first priority, but she still tried to make sure they had a relationship. She did everything that she could. So yeah, there was a couple of times throughout the seasons that Mackenzie was on that she frustrated me, and that was the worst point that she frustrated me. I do. People still say, Mackenzie, you owe Macy an apology, and I do think which Mackenzie is probably to the point. She's like, I don't care about that lifestyle. I don't care about playing into the teen mom fandom of those people telling me what I should and shouldn't do. But I do think if she was to just ever say, that was a big mistake for me to do that, and that was a big mistake for me to go at Macy the way that I ever did, I learned my lesson. I think a lot of people would be like, thank you for doing that, and maybe show her more grace and sympathy. But back in January 2023, she filed for divorce. He was very abusive, accusatory, accused her of cheating. Whether or not she did, I don't know. She's always denied cheating. I'm not sure. But I dated an addict too, and I did not catch on quickly. I was one of the dumb ones. I was literally one of the dumb ones. I had no idea. I actually dated two guys that did things. And after we broke up, I found things out and I was like, wow, really? But I was never into drugs, so I never participated in that kind of stuff. So I never knew what to look out for. I never knew. They could get over quickly on me. Mackenzie ended up getting a restraining order against Ryan. He literally broke it that night, ended up in jail. After he got out of jail, he ended up going to the house and just demolishing the house, right? That is where Mackenzie and her children lived. That was their home. When Mackenzie came home, she had her kids and they walked in to see that house that way. So they had to stay somewhere else for a while. They obviously had to repair the house, and they did. And now it's been almost 2 years and she has repaired the house. So she shared this video on her TikTok and her Instagram. We're going to watch it. I'm going to have to mute the music. The words to the music, the lyrics are right there so you guys can see it. Sorry, it was not muted. So here's before and after photos. He literally wrote so much on the walls, spray painted the walls. So let me. The bathroom. This is just, I remember, we're going to watch some of the body cam footage in just a little bit because you can see more of like what he really did to the house. But what's even worse, like I said, in the comment section, this person here said that these comments are not vibing. Everyone is blaming Macy and Mackenzie, yet Ryan was the addict and his parents enabled him. How are we saying anything else? Which I understand what she's saying, but at the same time, Mackenzie did do some things towards Macy that a lot of people have a hard time getting over. I remember those things. So do you not remember when Mac blamed Macy? And someone else said it. Do you not realize when you're with an addict and you're hurting for them that you always wonder why they are a drug addict and definitely question who hurt them and their family or past? Macy was cruel at times, which I really can't say I ever remember Macy really being cruel. Macy set boundaries at times, but she had a son to protect. So of course she should have. Yes. And Mackenzie enabled him too as well. Because when you come to realize that you're with an addict, then you don't know what to do. They ask for money, you give them money. You really have to educate yourself on that balance between enabling and just like loving the addict. All right, so let's see. People bash you, but they have no idea what he put you through. So happy he's sober, happy now. Be happy for his sobriety too. You traveled a broken road with him. That's okay. He's getting better. I'm so sorry. I see you. I bet this felt so incredibly lonely. People forget this was like only a year ago. Can you post a picture of the writing on the wall? I'm nosy and really want to know what it says. And I can tell you to nosy Linda, even if she posts a picture of the wall, you're not going to be able to see what it says because I tried so hard. I screen recorded. I went screen by like shot by shot, still by still, zoomed in, cleared the blur and you still can't tell. He just has sloppy handwriting, and a picture is going to pixelate it to the point where you can't see it no matter how hard you try. So glad he's happy and clean. And I'm like, why are people even commenting? Just be like, glad to see you got your house fixed. I don't know, like, so glad he's clean and getting the help that he needs. You go, Ryan. So proud and happy to see you thriving and loving your true love and loving life with your true love. I don't know. I just don't understand those kind of comments. Somebody said he smeared his own fecal matter on the walls of the house his kids lived in. The government would have to water this info out of me. You're so embarrassing defending a man who never know you exist. His kids lived in a fecal matter covered home. He's a effing signed an alcoholic. Wow. I'm so glad Ryan is in a better place. He's so happy and healthy. Somebody said heal out loud and make no apologies. And she said, I give 0 F's and 0 apologies as it pertains to this. And I can't say I blame her. Why can everybody else post their life? Why can everybody else post their baby showers, post this and post that, but she can't post what she went through? She can't say, this is what I came home to one day. This was my house. Me and my 2 kids walked into it. The man that I was married to did this. And it took me almost 2 years to fix it. And now here's what I've made from that. Why can't she? Ryan can put what he come from. Like he can show all of his successes and he shows off Amanda and they talk about their jobs and they talk about everything. So why can't she do this? I don't understand. Like people are literally like, girl, stop. You're looking for clout. Stop. Like, no. Can you imagine coming home to I get it. She was married to an addict. I get it. Like people warned her. I get it. He drove high to the wedding. But like I said, I don't think she ever thought for a minute that he was on H. I think she thought he was on something. I don't even know if I believe that she knew he was an active addict. I think she knew he dabbled with things. But when she really realized that it was probably after they were married, in my opinion. I don't see Mackenzie posting this as not letting them live. You know what I'm saying, Jen? And maybe I'm wrong, but I see what like her putting what she came home to and what was done to her house and her accomplishment. Because Mackenzie did this. Ryan did that. Mackenzie did this. Mackenzie did this. Now her kids have their home again. That was their home. In the body cam footage, the cops say, like, did the kids see this? And she said, yes. And he said, I'm so sorry. And she said, they just want their home. They just want to come home. But they couldn't. They couldn't go home because he destroyed their home. But she made this happen. Working in the medical field, I think her job is a medical sales rep is what she does. On the child support documents that she had to turn in, she had to turn in how much money she makes. And you have to do that by turning in your pay stubs, like the last few pay stubs. She brings in around $3,000 a month. And she paid for those repairs to get her kids back in the home they wanted to be in. So I don't see, in my opinion, I don't see her posting this as her impeding upon their happiness at all. And she may have known he was an addict. I would love to talk to her and really ask her, like, how much did you know? Because I really don't think that she knew he was like shooting the H up. I think she thought he had been dabbling in Xanax. Did you have your home cleaned and fixed, or do you move and buy something else? Your current home is gorgeous and just perfect for you and your kids. Somebody said, you can see it's the exact same house. Look at the fireplace. Currently picking up the pieces of my home. You give me hope. I'm so sorry you're going through it. There is so much hope on the other side. All right, someone said, I would have sat on the floor and cried, not knowing where to begin. You have major strength, my girl. That's what your kids are seeing. Remember that. Happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you're doing well. Mackenzie said, haha, well, that happened too. On the heaping pile next to the table, LOL. And then my people rallied around me, stayed all night helping me. It was just sad. But this was really just to show how much peace came from so much chaos. And I'm proud of the hard work. It took a long time. Somebody said, He was out of line. However, this was a while ago. Did you just now get it all fixed up? And she said, considering it was completely paid for out of pocket, yes, it took this long. I would love to know if Ryan did put any towards this, because to me, that's what I gather. Like, it was paid for out of pocket. It's not like insurance paid for this, and I had to pay for it. And what's crazy for me is if she had to pay for this out of pocket completely, I'm thinking about, okay, Ryan did this. She paid to fix it. And then Ryan, after he gets sober, he asks for full custody of the kids. He says he wants child support. And he asked that the judge issue a lien, place a lien on that house if she did not pay him child support. I'm like, dude, like, Mackenzie might have did some things, and she might not have listened to the world when we were all telling her don't do it. But that's crazy. It did come out that he was on H, but that wasn't until later on. So I'm going back to when they got married. When Mackenzie started dating him and they got married, I personally believe that she only thought that he was maybe taking Xanax or something. Because when she turned that camera off, you go back and watch the footage, when she turned it off, she didn't say, did you get heroin again? She said, did you take a Xanax? Not, did you take some Xanax? It was like, did you take a Xanax? And I know a lot of people, I mean, we don't know the story behind it. It could be that she knew full well, and she thought that he was only taking Xanax, and she knew that he had a problem, and she just was ignoring it, or she was in denial about how bad it was. Or he could have told her some story about, well, yeah, I take Xanax because when the cameras are around, it makes me nervous. So I take Xanax to help me chill. Like, we don't know. But thinking that your partner is on Xanax is a lot different than knowing that they have a full-fledged addiction to H and they're shooting it up. That is a little different. And too, like, I know there's been times that people have advised me to not be friends with this person and don't trust that person. And I'm like, well, the person treats me just fine. I can't help how your interaction with them went, but they treat me just fine. And then guess what? The person ended up screwing me, and the person that warned me is like, told you. And I'm like, oh, dang it. You know what I'm saying? So I think she was young. I think she followed her heart. And I think she didn't deserve this. She did not deserve this. She did not deserve this. People Magazine has like a video up of when the cops showed up. So we're going to watch that really quickly. And the thing about it is like, Ryan's living his best life now. And Mackenzie, she goes to work every day doing her medical sales rep stuff, and she tends to the kids. And I feel like Ryan is getting a lot of praise now, which, hey, I'm like, congratulations. Seeing him, Amanda, do great. Like, I'm happy for them. That is awesome. But at the same time, like, Mackenzie's over there taking care of them kids with no help.
What we'll do, this is pictures of this, we'll upload it into the digital evidence file. We'll see where the file on the other computer. Yeah, the mags.
He even demolished his kids' rooms. It wasn't just the living room, the kitchen, their bedroom, but even his children's rooms.
Wash your stuff as well.
Yes, sir.
Feces in here.
Yes, sir.
Just or you're on, so you having trouble with combination on it?
Now, the kids' rooms were messed up too. When the cops went past them a while ago, you could see. Let's see. I'll see if I can skip forward because when the cops pass by the kids' rooms, you can see that stuff is scattered all in there. So yeah, she shared this day before yesterday, I think it was, is when I saw it. And I'm so glad to see that the kids are back in their house because I know when my kids, if we go on vacation, like my kids' grandparents used to live in Texas. And when we would go there on vacation, we would be like a night or two. By the next day, our kids are like, I want to go home. I want to go back to my house. I want to go back to my house. I want to go back to my house because a lot of kids, their comfort is at their own home, you know? So not having that is hard. And like, what do you tell your kids? I mean, which they were aware, but still. All right, so that's one of the kids' rooms. You guys see, like, that's the little girl's room, little boy's room. And then, I mean, he touched every inch of the house. Every inch of the house. I'm going to read this article from the Ashley really quickly, and you guys can leave me your thoughts about it. I'm glad they got the repairs done. I'm glad she got it fixed. Everybody's praising Ryan for what he's doing right, and I'm all for that. I'm glad to see Ryan doing better. I think it's awesome. I do think Ryan still has animosity towards Mackenzie, and I think they still have, I think it's felt both ways. But I would absolutely feel animosity. In my opinion, like if I was Ryan after doing that, I think I would be like, I messed up. We were doing fine. They were doing fine. Ryan and Mackenzie were doing fine because Mackenzie would go live on Instagram and she would go live and cook and talk to the audience about physical fitness and how they ended up, not on MTV anymore. And she would just go live on Instagram and just talk. And sometimes Ryan would be there and sometimes he wouldn't. And it seemed like everything was fine. And then the next thing you know, she's not going live for a minute. And then bam, they're getting a divorce. He's back on drugs really bad. And it's bad. He's, getting physical with her and making threats to her. And then, tearing the house up like that. So I don't know. It's just really sad to think. In my opinion, I think it seemed like they were in a good place more than likely until he started using again. He started using again and it started making him really paranoid. And I don't know if I believe that she cheated. I don't know. I don't even if she did. If somebody cheats on you, you don't destroy your family home. You don't destroy your family home. All right, so let's read this article from the Ashley really quickly. I feel like I would forever just be like, sorry that I did that. If me and my husband were doing good and I was the one that suffered with addiction and was trying to stay sober and we were fine and I ended up relapsing and then I ended up causing us so many problems because I was paranoid thinking that he cheated and then I destroyed our house. When I got sober again, I think my first course of action would be like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry that I did that. I am so sorry. I would not be like letting my new boyfriend trash talk Ryan. I mean, whoever. I would not be letting my new boyfriend trash talk my ex-husband. I would be sorry. And I would be like, dude, I messed that up. Me and my addiction, I couldn't stay sober. I messed it up. Then when I relapsed, I just went full force and did all kind of crazy stuff. And she left me because I did not know how to act. And I got physical with her and I scared the holy piss out of her. So I just feel like if anything, he should be like, I'm the one that screwed that up. I'm the one that did all these things. So I should not be letting my new person bash her. I should not be being mean to her. I should be like, dang, like trying to make amends. I don't know. All right, so the Ashley says Ryan Edwards is currently enjoying a life reboot with sobriety, a new fiance, and a baby on the way. But his soon-to-be wife, Mackenzie Standifer, is reminding fans just how the Teen Mom star's alleged past actions have affected her in her nearly 2 years since the split. On Wednesday, Mackenzie, who is currently in the middle of a messy divorce and custody battle with Ryan, posted the video to TikTok showing her Tennessee home today, cozy and decorated for Christmas, as Gracie Abrams' song, That's So True, plays. The video then flashes to the same rooms in the house. So it went back in February 2023, which I actually think was April, maybe not. After Ryan allegedly destroyed the home by ripping appliances off the walls, this dude flipped the refrigerator over. I mean, he ripped things out the wall, spray painted the walls, splashed paint all over the rooms, among other things. In the post comment section, many people expressed their surprise at how much damage was actually done to the home, while others commented that Ryan should have faced more serious consequences for his alleged actions. The home, which according to Hamilton County, Tennessee property records, is only owned by Mackenzie and has been since it was purchased in 2019. It was unlivable after it was destroyed. That's another thing that I want to talk about is when this happened, everybody was like, well, that's Jen and Larry's home anyways. That's Jen and Larry's home anyways. I remember coming across the property records and saying, like, guys, this is not Jen and Larry's home. It's Mackenzie's home. So there's some before and after pictures. One person wrote, he wrecked a house and walked away. I'm glad he's doing better, but this isn't history for Mac. She was dealing with all of the consequences of his prior actions. These comments are crazy for excusing an abuser just because he's sober now. Let her speak her side. Her experience is real and valid, someone wrote. And honestly, I think Mackenzie don't even care to really say anything. I think she just wants to be able to post every so often when she wants to post. As far as like doing an interview to speak publicly about what she went through, I think she's like, I just want to live my damn life. If that means looking at my house now and seeing what it was back then and saying, you know what, I'm going to post the photos. I'm going to post pictures of before and after because she wants to. I think that's that's how she feels. But I don't think she really cares because, like, if you read some of the posts, she's like, I don't give a you know. When one person told Mackenzie that she should be grateful that Ryan is sober now, she clapped back. So the person said, addiction is terrible and makes one do terrible things. Just be glad he's finally going to be able to be the sober dad all the kids deserve. God knows you didn't care when he wasn't sober driving you to your wedding. Be so for real right now. Mackenzie wrote, you're so wrong about that. My kids and I deserve much more than the road we have walked. Go touch grass. According to the officers on the scene in February 2023, the home Ryan and Mackenzie and their kids once shared was completely destroyed, allegedly by Ryan, who was listed as the suspect in a police report exclusively obtained by the Ashley. According to the police report, officers who arrived at Ryan and Mackenzie's home on February 10, 2023, they were met with an incredibly disturbing scene, with the reporting officer writing in the report that the home had been completely destroyed, except for Ryan's possessions and his kids' rooms. I don't know why the report says in his kids' rooms, because you could see in the video that his kids' rooms had stuff scattered all about. Now, maybe he didn't like break all their things, but there was stuff clearly scattered all in their rooms. Officers arrived on the scene one day after Mackenzie had taken out a temporary restraining order against Ryan. The order stated that Ryan was not allowed to be at the home unless it was with a uniformed officer to retrieve his personal belongings. Mackenzie and Ryan had already split by this time, with Mackenzie listing her separation date in January in the divorce filing. The lead deputy reported upon arriving at the Edwards home that she immediately noticed that several bedroom windows had been shattered and that personal items had been thrown all over the front of the yard of the home. Inside, the damage was even more shocking, with spray paint markers and paint being used to destroy the home fixtures, walls, and possessions. A loaded gun and knife had also been left out in the wreckage. The refrigerator was tipped over and leaned against the counter, and the doors were open and had been written on in permanent marker. I observed a loaded AK-47 style rifle on the kitchen counter. The microwave had been spray painted blue. The dining room table was flipped over and had been spray painted with profanities, as had the patio window and other walls in the house. There was also writing in black marker on the walls. Ryan allegedly used a knife and other items to punch holes in the home's walls. I observed white paint smudges across the floor, as well as a knife stuck in the wall holding a note. I observed several other holes in the wall, a and several pointed metal objects also stuck into the drywall. I observed the couch had been placed upside down against the front door. A loaded AK-4. I probably shouldn't have said it a while ago, but there's a knife holding a letter into the wall. Ryan, who had previously been making social media posts accusing Mackenzie of cheating on him, allegedly wrote about Mac cheating all over the home's walls. Most of the graffiti on the walls were allegations of infidelity against Mackenzie. There were also glass all over the floor as several windows had been broken. Deputies observed a wedding photo hanging in the hallway, which had also been written on. The doors of the cabinets had been removed and was lying on the couch, and one of the doorknobs to a closet was broken off. Things got downright disgusting in the master bedroom. Deputies also observed the master bedroom had an odor consistent with fecal matter, but nothing was located. Which they say he crapped in there. I don't know. Ryan was arrested on the same day cops went to the home. At the time of Ryan's arrest, the teen mom OG dad, who was named a suspect in the police incident report, denied having any part in the destruction of his home. His denial can be seen in the officer's body cam footage. I did not do that. I got evidence. This is crazy. The officer said I can move my stuff out. I've been to my house. I saw what was done to it. Ryan said in the video as he's being handcuffed and led to a waiting cop car. Like, dude, who else is going to go in there and write about Mackenzie cheating? A cop then asked Ryan who destroyed the home if it wasn't him. And Ryan blamed the guy he thought Mackenzie was dating. Ryan's boots were then photographed, and the cops noted that the boots were splattered with the same white paint that was used to vandalize the house. Upon searching Ryan, I observed white paint on the tops and the sides of his boots, which appeared to match what I observed on the floor of his residence, the officer wrote. Since that time, Ryan has sobered up and is now living with Amanda Connor, a woman he met in rehab in 2023. They are reportedly engaged, but are unable to get married right now due to Ryan still being legally married to Mackenzie. Ryan and Amanda are expecting a baby girl in February 2025. Ryan and Amanda have yet to comment on Mackenzie's latest post. But there's the video. And what's crazy, though, is that right before this was posted, Amanda actually, she had been live on TikTok, and she said that she wanted to get over, her and Mackenzie's problem. She's like, she wants them to get along. She's like, if Mackenzie thinks that, I'm going to do something to her kids, I'm not. But I understand, it's just going to take time and consistency for her to be able to trust me. And then somebody said something, and she was like, no, I'm going to give Mackenzie the benefit of the doubt. So this is a new thing, though, because just on Halloween, Amanda dressed up as Mackenzie, and they have had some back and forth tips for ever since Amanda came into the picture. There's been back and forth. But just a few days ago, Amanda seemed like she's ready to put all that, behind her, because she's like, it's just going to take consistency, for her to understand that I'm not going to do anything. And she said, if Mackenzie thinks I would talk bad about her to her kids or in front of her kids, I would not. I would not do that. So that's good to know. But Mackenzie saw the TikTok and then commented on it. She was like, is this a joke? So I don't know. But here is some of the body cam footage from when Ryan was arrested.
You're in place under arrest. For what? For one, I did not do that. Somebody else did. I've got evidence. Okay.
Well, you have a warrant, so how about that?
Did y'all hear it? He was like, I got evidence. But they do too now. It's the paint on your boots. Let me back it up.
For one, I did not do that. Somebody else did. I've got evidence. Okay.
Well, you have a warrant, so how about that?
Yeah.
Is that better for you?
This is crazy.
Well, you violated the order last night. You're supposed to meet in the basement.
The officer that said I could move my stuff out.
He told you could do that with a police escort with 45 minutes. That's written on
If
there.
she wasn't
He
there.
also told you that you needed to turn yourself in on this warrant.
Yes, that was yesterday.
Right.
I,
Well, so we're not going to ask you any questions right now, but just so that you're all aware of what's going on, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be appointed to you. You have the right to have that attorney present at any time during questioning, and you have the right to refuse to answer any of our questions.
I need to lock my toolbox up. Because I'm $15,000.
Okay, somebody else is going to have to do that for you.
Ma'am, I have the keys to it.
Wherever it is, if you've unsecured it right now, I don't know where it's at. We'll go straight to the control part.
Okay.
You said you didn't do that. What am I talking about?
I've been to my house. I saw what the hell was done to it.
So who did that then? If it wasn't you.
The person that is with her, I guess.
How did you see it?
When I was there, I stayed at my house and my parents' house. I know his car because that's their old car. I know what was going on. He drove by my house 30 minutes. I left his mom and dad's house and I went back that morning. That's what I saw.
What morning?
Thursday morning? Yeah.
Okay, she was at the house yesterday, and it wasn't like that.
Yes, it
So-
was. I've got proof. I have my camera, game camera, with an SD card.
She also violated the order by calling her dad. And she's going to be there tonight.
Are you serious?
Tender at contact.
I don't understand that.
But you should have asked questions yesterday when it was served, and you asked if you had any questions.
I'm not being afraid. I'm not trying to contact her, y'all. I don't know why you're being afraid. Why would I destroy my own stuff?
That's a good question. I've been wondering the same thing.
Do you not think she's lying? She has an order of protection against me. She's called you guys 3 times, came to the house. 3 times. I've not done anything to her.
Okay, look, I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner. I'm just the arresting officer on the warrant that you have.
And I'm
So,
not mad at you. But, I mean, really gracious, guys.
so if you understand that, then why are you so angry about this?
I'm
Turn and
not-
face the car and separate your feet. Look, you were told you had a warrant and you didn't do anything about it. That's it. Okay. I know you're a heroin user. Do you use needles?
No.
So you have no needles on you right now.
No.
Take this hat off top again.
Will you check his belt line really good? I said turn and face the car. I didn't tell you to move.
No?
Was that no too? Oh,
This was my child, and we told me to watch this.
Thank you. Turn around. What, the other one too, sir? Around the other.
Thank y'all so much. Absolutely. Thank y'all for being here.
I'm telling you, it's well.
All right. So they did actually end up finding drugs on him in that video, and he was charged with possession as well. But it's crazy because he's like, why would I do that to my own stuff? Do you ever think she's lying? I question how Ryan did it by himself. Like, how the heck would Mackenzie do it by herself? Or she would at least have to have help. But at the end of the day, like they could have did like a handwriting analysis to see whose handwriting was all over the walls. I mean, you left your handwriting all over the walls, you know, the paint was on your boots. So I just want to say, I'm glad to see that Ryan is doing so much better, that he's sober. Like, that's awesome because the disease is very hard to overcome. It takes a lot. And there's a lot of people that never make it and it ends up taking their lives. And that's the last thing that anybody would want to see Ryan end up dead. You know, this disease get the better end of him. He's got kids that would affect them. So I'm glad that he's better. However, I don't feel like Mackenzie can't post whatever the hell she wants to post on her page. I couldn't imagine. Like, I don't even, I mean, I was in a relationship with a guy that struggled with addiction, but I was younger than Mackenzie. I started dating this guy when I was 12 and he was 14. And we went on to have two children together. Now, when we started dating and he was 14, he clearly was not an addict. But as he started doing it, he started smoking weed. And I was terrified of weed because I thought, oh, weed absolutely leads to other drugs. Elle, what do you know about the status of the case? If there is one, was Ryan ever charged, convicted, and sentenced? So, from my knowledge, the things that he has been arrested for, everything's been kind of dealt with. He's been arrested. He was sentenced to rehab. He left rehab early, came home and overdosed and wrecked, got arrested again. The judge mandated that he go to rehab and he could not leave. And if he left, he would go to jail for like a year or so. So he completed rehab. He went to a halfway house. He has to take random drug tests, but he's also on I think it's a monthly injection of maintenance medication to keep him sober. I don't remember what it's called. It's something like Vivitrol, I think. Does anybody remember if that's what it is? Vivitrol? Okay. He's on Vivitrol. And so he has to take that like monthly or every other month or something to keep him from, from relapsing. So that's kind of what it is right now. And he's doing good. Yeah. Okay. When's their next court hearing for the divorce though? Child support? Okay. So they had a hearing. Ryan's lawyer told Ryan, you don't have to be there. You don't have to be there. So Ryan did not go. So Mackenzie was awarded temporary full custody of the kids because Ryan was a no-show. So Ryan ended up firing his lawyer, hired another lawyer, and he requested another court date. But to my knowledge, they don't have a court date yet. I thought Amanda said almost 2 years for him on a live the other day. It's been 1 year. If she said 2 years, she meant 1 year because, wait. Okay, so February 2023 was when all that happened. He overdosed in like April 2023. So, I mean, it may be coming up. Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, I'm not saying Mackenzie's like innocent in everything. I don't think she's innocent in everything. I actually saw a clip from the reunion not too long ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, that infuriates me still to see Mackenzie blaming Macy. Like, girl, no, it was not Macy's fault. I just feel like she may have made some mistakes. Absolutely. She married him. Everybody tried to warn her, but this was her children's house too. Her children walked in and seen this house completely destroyed. They had to live somewhere else while their mom repaired this. While Ryan, now he's living his best life. So I don't think she knew exactly who she married. I really don't. Because when you're 20 and you got somebody telling you they love you, you're thinking, I'm going to be the one that they're going to be, I'm their person. So maybe like he wasn't the best with Macy, but that's because he cares about me more. So I don't think she really did know 100%. Because I'm telling you guys, if I thought my boyfriend was taking a Xanax, that's different then finding out they were on H on the way to the wedding. And I think sometimes we can be in denial about the people that we love. And I think that's what it was. I think she was in denial about it. I don't think she had an understanding of exactly, you know, who he was when she married him. I think she realized that he was doing something, but I don't think she. I mean, I know so many friends of mine that at that age, they're still like kind of in their partying phase. They're going out drinking and they're taking. I mean, literally, I found out a while back that like some of my friends used to take ecstasy while going out and partying, and I was like, "What? Really?" Like, yeah, we did. I'm like, "Dang, that's crazy." All of my friends always knew that I was extremely scared of drugs. I wouldn't even smoke marijuana. I tried it a couple times, didn't like it. My boyfriend, as we got older, he did it a lot, and he would get mad at me because I wouldn't do it, and I would get mad at him because he did do it. And I was like, "It's a gateway drug. You're going to end up on crack," you know? And he never ended up on crack, but he ended up on some other stuff. So we've overlooked a lot in our relationships when we think this is my person, I'm his person. He may not have been great for her, but he's going to be better for me because we're each other's people. So I just feel like I can't. I took my older kid's dad back after some dumb stuff. Like everyone, my family loved him the first few years of our relationship, and then it got to where they wanted us to never be together because he cheated on me horribly because he did so many things to me, and it got to the point where my parents tried to forbid me from seeing him, and I got pregnant at 17, had our first child at 18, had our last child that we had together at 21. So it took me until I was 21. By the time I had our last child, I was no longer with him and I was completely done. And it took me, so maybe, but would you marry someone that's under the influence at probably at 21? I wouldn't have. But me and my older kid's dad dated, like I said, from the time I was 12, and we had our last till I was about 20 because I had our last child at 21. And I wondered, like, why has he never asked me to marry him? Like, we got a child. Like, why has he not popped the question? And I knew what his problem was. I didn't like it. I demanded that he stop, and I broke up with him several times because he didn't. But I was in denial as well. Like, I did not know how hard it is to kick an addiction. So I was like, quit, stop. Okay, I will. Stay together. Catching, break up. I'll quit. Okay, I'm back. Like at that age, I may would have. Like if I knew that my boyfriend smoked weed, which I didn't like it. And on the way to our wedding, and I'm 20 years old, he's like dozing off. My dumb self might be like, "You've been smoking pipe," because it can make you sleepy too. Not that sleepy, but I might would be like, if I knew that's what he did. So that's what makes me feel like Mackenzie thought that he had taken Xanax. So that's what she thought that he had been doing. She didn't know that he had been using H. And if you was on your way to the wedding and you thought maybe your husband or future husband took Xanax and maybe he lied to you to say, well, when cameras are here, I get nervous. So sometimes I take Xanax. Would you cancel the whole wedding? Maybe you should, but do we? Like, I don't know, like, would you cancel it? Cameras are there, and you just think, oh, well, he was nervous, so maybe he took his Xanax. Cancel it? I don't know. Like, I would like to hope that I would be like, wow, you seriously got a problem. But my mind would go to so many other things if I did not know that he really had a problem. My mind would go to like, maybe he took his Xanax or I don't know. I mean, and that's where her mind went. So I can't say I fault her 1,000% because she was young and naive and the cameras were there. And could you imagine if she would have said, well, he was falling asleep, so I think he's messed up on drugs, so I'm going to cancel the wedding. Oh, Xanax, let me tell you, Xanax isn't going to put Ryan in the shape that he was that day. Let me tell you, when I was working at a finance company, and it was after me and my kid's dad split up, and I was having anxiety a lot, managing the finance company, having 2 babies, being single. they put me on the lowest dosage of Xanax, the lowest dosage. So my prescription is like, get up, take it in the morning. I think that's what it was. That's what I did either way. So that's must have been what it was. I got up, I took it. I drive to work, about a 15-minute drive, 20-minute drive. I get to work. I'm sitting at my office, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh my God. So I tell my assistant manager and my cashier, like, guys, I'm going to go into the back and like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. I'm exhausted. Never thought, oh, it's the pill that I took. I lay down for a while, get back up, work. The next day, take it again. Drive to work, same thing. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, y'all, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. It took me like 3 times saying, holy crap, it's got to be the medicine. That was the absolute. I called my doctor and I told them, like, this is knocking me out. I said, could y'all lower it? And they said, no, that's the lowest dosage. There's nothing beneath that. And I was like, oh, which they may have said like that I could try to split it maybe. But I remember them saying, you're on the lowest dosage. Like, we can't call you in another prescription. So, oh, yes. Medication can do different things to people because I know things that are not even as, if you, they absolutely can knock you out. I've seen it. It happened to me. There's probably people in here. Abby says, Xanax knocks me out. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, he was completely zooted. But I think that honestly, to be quite honest, the way he was on the way driving, that's how I was in my office. I was like, my eyes were crossing. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, what is wrong with me? That's literally how I was. So everyone is different. And I think she thought, he may have told her, oh, I take Xanax every once in a while because I get nervous for the cameras. I don't know. That's why I wish he would talk. That's why I wish we could talk to her, or I could talk to her and be like, so what did he tell you? Why did you automatically ask him if he took Xanax? Was it because he told you he took Xanax from time to time? If so, why did he tell you he took Xanax? What was his justification for taking it? It would give us a better understanding of where her thought process was. But I can say if I was filming for a TV show and I thought my boyfriend just took Xanax and he was zoned out like that, I'd be like, pull the car over, dopey. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't call him dopey, but I would be like, sleepy, pull the car over. We're going to call production and the preacher and tell them we'll be there tomorrow because you can't marry me. What did you do? You took a Xanax? Yeah, you took a Xanax and now you're half asleep. So we're going to go home. You're going to go to sleep and we'll reschedule for tomorrow. Cameras, meet us back here tomorrow. Because I would be dumb enough to believe that it was just a Xanax probably. And what we later found out is it was the H. He had taken H before. So yeah, I may have would have canceled it for the day because I was dumb enough to think it was just a Xanax. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you guys leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I think Mackenzie did a lot of wrong. A lot of addicts say they're on Xanax if they do heroin. Both downers, both make you nod. Xanax isn't considered as bad as heroin. The downplay, exactly. Looked like a quickie wedding anyway. Only his parents were there, right? Yes, just his parents. Was Chance there? Chance was probably there. Yeah, he probably had been taking Xanax. Like, he probably really had. But yeah, so I think if Ryan and Amanda can post all their great things and everybody can comment about how happy they are to see him, like, why can't we let her post her things? Like, I couldn't even imagine coming home with my 2 kids and staying in my house like that after having to get a restraining order on my husband because he got physical with me in front of my kids and he put a knife to my back and told me that if he couldn't have me, nobody would have me. And then I bring my 2 little kids home in the middle of going through all of that and them seeing that house and then us having to go live somewhere else for God knows how long while we fix that home. She fixed that home. She's got her kids back in the home. She's working to take care of them. She has every right to post about it. And I'm like mind blown when I see people like say that she can't. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think he had lied and just told her it was just Xanax. How long does he have to take Vivitrol? I'm not sure. Have fun hanging out tonight. It's my night off from the kiddo. Great. What do I? Oh yeah. No, I'll probably do like a hangout. Maybe. What time is it? What's 9? I might call it a night. I'm on Xanax right now to get me through my mom's service. I can't function otherwise. I'd be in my room. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I've heard of people that happening a lot when people lose loved ones. They get put on Xanax. The fact that she knew, yep. I do worry about Amanda when she goes to have the baby because they give you meds when you go into labor. And remember, Leah Messer got addicted when she had Addie. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was on H during the car ride, but she thought he was on Xanax. Does Ryan work? Yes, Ryan is a diesel mechanic. And Amanda actually just started a job at like a rehab facility or something like that. So they both work. I ain't shocked to hear people defend him and blame it on Mackenzie. It sucks because I'm like, did Mackenzie do wrong? Yes. Did Ryan do wrong? Yes. You know, like, oh yes, like way up here. Like he did so like what he did was so much worse in my book. Because he destroyed his family's home. He got physical with her. He got physical with her in front of their kids. He put a knife to her back. Like I'm glad that he's better. Like I'm glad. I'm glad that he's doing better. I'm glad that that's awesome. But like at the same time, like she went through some crap, and if she was with him for money, if he was high on the way to the wedding, she should shut it down. Does that mean she deserves all of this? In my personal opinion, I don't think so. Yeah, they had a second wedding later on, and he looked high, and he was drinking, and he was supposed to be sober. So I will say that too. When he came home from rehab, him and Mackenzie went over to Jen and Larry's, and he drank the beer fresh out of rehab, and I'm like, really? Y'all just gonna let him sit there and drink? You know? Anyways, you guys, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. She went through a lot of trauma. I'm shocked to see people respond the way that they have, but everybody doesn't share the same opinion that I have, and I understand that. You guys leave me your opinions in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on my other social media platforms if you don't already. I have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. So go check me out on my other platforms, and I'll see you guys maybe later. We'll have to see. Good night, guys.